What's up, fellas?
Got it. How's it going, Coach?
How are you, man? Tim Gleason, you didn't have a hey, Tim, you didn't have a tea time today.
I did. It was it's
Hey,
last week.
hey, the punters were killing you the other day, man. The punters were killing you.
I'll get it back one day. Joe
About
makes
the
his way
golf
down,
game.
so
God, those guys had some great stories, man. Great stories. Mitch and Whitford, about when Whitford first came here, God, it was hilarious.
yeah. I mean, the blokes like that running around Lewis and Santa Barbara is always a bit of a worry, but
that's why I was afraid. Hey, I was concerned about Jackson running this meeting, man. with some of you guys, holy crap.
Yeah, we were talking about the good old times, Coach, man. We miss it.
Yeah, hey, there were some good ones now, that's for sure.
Hey, Coach Mop is aging backwards, man.
I'm like Benjamin Button, man. I'm like Benjamin Button, man. I'm going backwards. Hey, Femi, man, don't come in with that Alabama accent now. Come on now.
Oh, no, I'm back on the West Coast, man. I'm in Washington.
Troy, Alabama. That's way out there in the sticks now. I've been there before.
Yeah,
Troy.
It's
not Santa Barbara, I'll tell you that.
It's not Pocatello, Idaho. Pocatello, Idaho, Tavante.
It ain't Tavante's spot.
Oh my God. The Natty. How about the Natty, Jared?
Natty ghetto.
Hey, Jared, man, tell me, you got some serious. I'm in watching TV one time. All of a sudden, I'm going like on CNN. I'm going, what? Is that Jared? Is that Jared? I'm like, whoa.
Yo, Coach, man, it went from like one news article, and then it went from like everybody in the world calling me, like New York Post, Wall Street Journal, Dr. I'm like, yo, what do y'all want from me, man?
Hey, were you quarantined at that time?
Yeah, I was locked up in Wuhan at that time.
What's Wuhan like? What is that? That place is getting a bad name, man. That place
is bad, and I feel bad because it's a beautiful place.
Is it?
Is it really? China. Is it pretty nice?
Yeah, I love it out there, man. It takes a lot of hard time to get accustomed to the culture in the beginning.
Right.
But when you get like fluent into some words and you become more comfortable taking the trains, meeting the people and things like that, and knowing their culture, then it's easy, man. How do you audible
to kick two saber in Chinese, man? That's what I want to know.
Yo, you know what's funny? Like, a lot of them speak English. Like on my team.
How many Americans did you guys have?
We can have as many Americans on the team, but only 4 can play.
Oh, okay. At one time?
Yeah, that's just like in Germany. In Germany, only 4 can play.
Keep things fair.
Hey, let me ask you one thing. Now, be honest with me. Did you eat a bat?
Hell. But hey, check this out though. I ate some weird ass shit though. I ain't even gonna
lie. I bet.
Yo, I ate some the things that you like. What the hell are you eating, man? Like, why would you do that?
I watched this thing the other day, and it showed how they prepare the bats. Yeah. And they cut the wings off, and then they cut them open and they deep fry them. I'm like, gosh, dang, man. Like give me a ribeye, and I'll leave it at that. I don't know. Some Vegemite? What do you think, Glees?
Vegemite? Yeah, mate, you can't go wrong with that. You're running right there.
Yo, Tim's uncles and cousins eat kangaroos, so ain't nothing.
Oh man.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, Tavante, where are you living now?
I'm in Idaho. I'm still out here in Pocatello.
Are you really? I'm Pocatello?
Yeah, it's nice. I just bought a house out here not too long ago.
Hey, you can do that in Idaho. You ain't doing that in Santa Barbara, but you can do that in Idaho.
Hey, good for you, Tavante.
There, at Santa Barbara City College last year, at the career for the Career Center.
Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't get it obviously, but
should have called me, man. Dang it! You didn't let me know, man. I'm throwing
that word, right, Coach? Tell him throwing that word.
I'll put in a good word for you. Sammy, where are you at?
I'm in Seattle, Washington.
Really? Why Seattle? Where'd that come from?
Work. Because I have was in Troy, moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and then I got a job transfer out here. So I've been here for about 2 years.
You've been out there for a while.
Yeah.
Hotlanta. What made you leave Hotlanta, man? That's a great town.
Yeah, I went from Atlanta because it was literally 2 hours from Troy, and it was the next big city. And as soon as I graduated, I was like, I need a job. So I just went to Atlanta,
Right.
got a job there, and just kind of worked my way up. And they were like, hey, you want to go to Seattle? I said, say less. Yeah, I'm here.
There you go.
Did you ever go down to Mobile when you were in Troy?
Oh, yeah, all the time. It's a nice little city out there, Mobile.
Yeah, but you got to smell the paper mill, man. You get that smell when you first go into Mobile. It's nasty.
Yeah, that paper mill is disgusting. South Alabama was there. We got to play them a few times, but it's a pretty city though.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, listen, man. I appreciate you guys coming on today. I appreciate Jackson getting a hold of you, and you know, we've been really, obviously because of this situation, we all kind of been quarantined in, and we're trying to do some things, reaching out virtually, and like I said, we had the punters on the other day. Tried to have Gleason, but he was on the 4th hole at Melbourne Country Club or somewhere. Are you in Australia right now?
No, I'm out in Arizona, mate. Scottsdale.
Whereabouts?
Yeah, Scottsdale.
Oh, there's some good golf in Scottsdale. I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hold it against you. I don't blame you.
I wish I was
Friday
right now.
Yeah, Friday 4 p.m. usually cuts into the beer time, so we were chucking a few down on the course and getting out in the sun.
There you go. I met and Tim, I remember when you were. I mentioned about you and that punt. I said, how you killed the ball inside. God, where was that? Inside the 1 or in 13? Remember when we were at Antelope Valley?
Yeah.
And then your humble ass comes back and goes, "Oh, coach, I had to back up the defense because I screwed up a time before." I put that out of my mind, man. I only remember the good things.
That one was haunting me for a bit. I know Sheedy rolled in because Andy Force was injured or something happened, and Sheedy's first snap, his long snapper, I think he sailed about 15 feet over my head, just straight out the back of the end zone. So
Trucky guy, damn Trucky guy.
Exactly, mate. Love the dogs.
I tell you what I remember was freaking one thing is because Jared he was out, and then freaking what's his name? God, what's the guy that came in?
ABC.
What was his name? He actually tried to come back, Jared.
Josh Martin.
About 3 years ago.
Josh
Martin. Yeah, he tried to come back about 3 years ago and then just disappeared again. Wow. But no, then we went to Shipley. Remember Shipley came in. Bruce Shipley.
Yeah, he did.
And we were, hey, we had to pull in the reins a little bit, man, and it was like all on the defense, man.
That's when Jacob Arnell caught that crazy back shoulder catch.
Yes.
Onto the right sideline, the right sideline. At first, it was like third. It was like third and like I remember it was like third and like 16.
Oh, that was hard. That's a hard place to go in and win. Is Antelope Valley?
Antelope Valley.
Where's that? Palmdale? Or?
Yeah, Lancaster.
I love their stadium.
Oh yeah, and they just got new turf. We're gonna get new turf.
Yeah,
we got new field going in. Hopefully we have a season to do it with, but they're coming in next week to actually put in the turf. Black end zones, home of the Vaqueros on the bottom part.
That's
nice. And they got this new kind of turf. They got this new kind of infill that keeps it 10 to 12 degrees cooler than the air temp. We played on it last year at Pasadena. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool.
Coach, you remember when I broke my jaw?
Oh my God. I swear, I was thinking about that last night when I was thinking about this meeting. I thought, I remember that play because that jackass referee, I want to say, are you not going to call that? Yeah. And you played the whole game with it. But that was such a cheap shot. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget the ref. He still refs games, man. I'll just never forget that.
Yo, we were on the bus. Me and Coach Murat was on the bus sitting in the front seat. And we had the sandwiches. Remember the sandwiches we had? And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, yo, Coach, I can't eat the sandwich, man.
It wasn't going down easy, that's for sure. I tell you, you guys remember when we played Compton at the Vet in Long Beach?
I separated my shoulder at that game.
Did you?
That was
really?
like a 9. That was like a 9 a.m. game, wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
pretty
it
early.
was early.
It was early, yeah. And
Yeah.
that game, remember we played so crappy on offense in the first half. Luckily,
He had like 50 yards.
yeah, the defense held up their end in the first half. But if you remember, hey, Gleason,
Yes.
tell me something, man. We've gone dry on Australian punters, man. Our last one was Trent Snyder. We need to get that connection going again. I don't know what happened, but we had a run there from you all the way to Schneider, man. The coaches that when we go get the all conference, vote on the all conference, they'd say, Ropless, how you keep getting those Australian punters? And I just keep telling, well, I fly over there and I just look around and I see who's punting on the fields around there and I recruit them. Oh yeah, right. Then all of a sudden, man, they dried up and it has been rough, man. It has been rough.
Yeah, I was trying to. Yeah, I want that to start up again because it gives me a reason to come out there and crash on someone's couch. But no, I was speaking to the coach, but the exchange rate's gone down a bunch. I think it's pretty much like 50 cents to the dollar. So makes it a little bit difficult, obviously, with the costs of Santa Barbara at times. But no, we're trying to get a few people going. Obviously, just waiting on. I spoke to my coach the other day, see if he had anyone. He said that he probably would, depending on how the season plays out. So
it's funny, Tim. In the punter thing the other day, those guys, who was it? I think it was Witt and Trent said that the reason they had to go JUCO was because they didn't take a science.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't take a science class, so they didn't take the
well, I don't know if Mitch even finished high school. He might have got
Mitch dropped out now, but I think it was Witt and Trent, who are both smart. They both have 3.8s or whatever.
Yeah, well, we don't do science. We can drop science in year 10. So, like, your last 2 years of high school, a lot of times kids won't even have it. Same with a lot of math classes. So, you can jump into, an economics degree or, accounting or, actually a pretty decent degree. But, yeah, just be missing a science or religion class or something like that. And then all of a sudden you're not eligible. So, there's a lot of boys. Yeah,
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for some more punters, man. And just make sure, I just got one requirement. They got to be 6'2", 230 pounds and run a 4.55. Because oh my God, hey, you guys missed him. You guys didn't play. You didn't play with Wisnowski, man. That dude was. I mean, he'd take off running, and he couldn't. Nobody could catch him, and if they caught him, they couldn't tackle him because he was so freaking big.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you guys saw it though when he was playing. The Niners had a game preseason, and he was kicking off, and he kicked off, and the guy caught it about 2 yards deep, and he decided to bring it out. And he's bringing it, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes Mitch, boom, and just tackle him, and it got the whole sidelines all fired up. And he told me, he goes, Coach, he said, I was so pissed off because I didn't kick it, I didn't hit it real well, that I went down. And I said, I better get his ass before he makes me really look bad. He tore it up.
He's a big boy. Yeah.
Hey, so Tavante, what about your experience? What would you tell an incoming guy? Be it in state, from Oxnard, wherever, but what would you tell him? Some things you got, some of the experiences you had.
So coming into just the JUCO lifestyle, you got a specific amount of time, to get in and to, get everything situated. So for me, it was like a second chance, a second opportunity. So I would say eliminate the distractions, get in, be focused, and, I'll say above all, eliminate those distractions and just chase your dreams.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Got you. I like that. Femi, how about you? What tell me some of the great memories you had, or what do you remember most about community college and your experience here?
Football, Femi.
Academics. Jared said academics. None of that.
Football, Femi.
What I'd say is just the overall it's a fraternity when it's all said and done, with the relationships you build. Because right when I got out of Troy, when I moved to Atlanta, I didn't have a place to stay. But guess who I stayed with for 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks? Spencer.
D-Bucks.
Who?
Yeah, Spencer Wood.
Spencer. Spencer.
Yeah, and so I got adjusted. So it's just relationships like that. Like even till now, I'm all the way in Seattle. I meet up with Perry. I meet up with Cole. Just things of that nature. If I'm ever in like the New York area, I'll call Jared. It's just those relationships you build throughout time is key, especially at a place like Santa Barbara where you got beautiful weather, top-notch academics, and if you prioritize those two things, everything else will just fall in place.
That's a great point. Great point. Gleason, how about you, Tim? Coming from, an international, of course, you were at Wyoming, so you had already been in the States, but what were some of the adjustments you had to make?
Correct. Well, yeah, I didn't really know too much about JUCO, with the Australian pipeline at the time. I think I was one of the first to go down that route. So, I had some idea what to expect, but coming from D1, you don't really know kind of what to expect. I'd say best piece of advice, just keep your head on a swivel. You can have fun, you can socialize, you can do all that sort of stuff. Just make sure you get the needs tos out of the way first. Get your homework done. Go to class and make sure you hit the weights. No one's going to be on your ass. You're a grown man. You're 18. You're living out of home. It falls on your shoulders. You can't put the blame on anyone else. Whether it works out or it doesn't, that's entirely up to you. So, have a crack, go down swinging. If it works, great. You got a scholarship to a 4-year, moving on, and leave school in a pretty fortunate situation with no debt. So, I'd just make the most of it. Favorite thing about SBCC, you got the beach, you got the boys. Always lived with a close group of mates, and still good mates at Connor Husted to this day. I probably see him once, twice a week out here, and a few other boys have made their way out to visit. So, as we said before, a fraternity, and overall a great time. Are
you living in Arizona right now?
Yes, yeah. I've got to wait on some visa stuff over the next couple of weeks to sort of see how that goes. But might be headed back home, might be staying here, just not too sure just yet.
How do you compare Rutgers and Wyoming? I even take out the experience or the one experience at Wyoming, but how do you compare those programs, the two of them?
Completely different. Wyoming was a bit of a different situation. I think at the time, we probably only had 4 people in the team from Wyoming. So, a lot of the guys you meet and become friends with and sort of forge these bonds, they're people who have left their, homes themselves and sort of traveled a long way away. A lot of kids playing there. It was their only Division 1 rivals. Only Division 1 offer. So these kids would come in with a chip on their shoulder and work really hard. And sometimes a place like Rutgers, when you do get bigger recruits, you can sort of see people fall through the cracks. With 4 stars, even like people just come in and kind of think they've got it, got it all going for them. And it's kind of funny. You see some, no star to 2-star players in Wyoming, they'd ball out. Look at Josh Allen, quarterback of Buffalo Bills. It's a pretty prime example there. And Rutgers, probably, Jared could speak on this as well. Just the type of person between the West Coast and the East Coast. The East Coast locker rooms are pretty heated. A lot of arguments back and forth, but. I want to say, aside from academics aside, Rutgers is pretty strong, having sort of connections to New York. But the people definitely made a difference. But
gotcha.
Not for better or worse, just different. And definitely something cool. And SBCC gave me the chance to experience that.
It's those East Coast hoodlums that we just got to be alert to. Yeah, we got to watch out.
Jared's New York boys. Yeah.
And Jared, how about you, man, with all the experiences you've had, and then now you're playing internationally, and, how does football, and being able to make them work together? You got your degree. And so what would you tell some young guy, coming out?
Coach, I can say a lot, honestly, that can pinpoint a lot of, ideals to what you really want out of this. You really got to understand, have a mindset and a mission to dedicate and sacrifice to your goal. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that can be distractions, especially in like a place like Santa Barbara. Tim just said, man, you got the weather, you got the, you got the beach, you got the women. You got everything in the palm of your hands, and besides what you're really there for. And we've all experienced our ups and our downs. But one thing I'll say, about, going into the JUCO process, man, it's a lot of hard work, and you got to grow up really, really fast. And I tell a lot of players, and I tell a lot of, individuals that ask me questions like that. And I give all my respect to Coach Marat, because when I got there from Towson, I mean, I wasn't no real quarterback. I mean, and I tell Coach Marat even to this day, like, and I told my brother Joshua, I said, yo, you want to become a quarterback? Listen to Coach Marat. And he has taught me the game of football, breaking down, reading defenses, your position, what you're entitled to, and why you're doing this, and where you're going with the ball, and your preset reads. I mean, Coach Marat, you've taught me exactly how to be a quarterback and how to lead by example. You know, and as much as I had my differences, you had your differences, we came to one conclusion, and that was to win. You know, and what I would tell people coming in, have a mindset to just work hard, dedicate yourself, sacrifice, listen to your coaches, and just play with each other. Because at the end of the day, man, I miss Jackson. Man, I miss Devontae. I mean, Femi, Tim. I mean, I can name everybody to this day on my football team for 2 years. You know, that I've came and we bonded so much. And if I can have a wedding, everybody's coming to my wedding for SBCC. You know what I'm saying?
Gotta settle down first, man. Gotta settle down first.
But, you know, honestly, you know, like I just, like, it's just a great opportunity, man, and take full advantage of it, you know. And for those who come in with a great mindset, man, just all out. You know, you come there for a reason. You don't come there to stay 4 years. You go there to get in, listen, bust your ass, excuse my language, and dedicate yourself to winning games and for Coach Marat, because that's his job. That's why he's there. So definitely, that's why I'll tell you.
First of all, thanks, Jared. I appreciate that, and I enjoyed my time working with all you guys. But we got to tell the truth, me and you. You know, all this coaching and 3-step drop and release the ball and read coverages. I'll never forget first time we beat Hancock in several years, man. Several years. 2013 was the first year, and I said to you, Jared, I think it was start of the second half. I said, hey, Jared, you drop back. If you see pressure at all, you're gone. Go and run. And there wasn't no coaching about it. It was just all athletic ability. And you turned that game around, and they'll never forget that. I'll never, you know, that their head coach up there. I mean, that started a 4-year run for us, but it was just strict athleticism. And so that was pretty cool. And that was one of my highlights of my career, man, was that game right there, winning that game. And especially when that guy who had quit our team, if you remember, quit our team in summer and went up to Hancock, and then he fumbled the ball and Morgan picked it up. I mean, that was awesome, man. I'll never forget that stuff, because those are the things. And you're right, the brotherhood, you know, which Jackson's a big part of, you know. And I remember, if you remember correctly, 2012, the end of the season in 2012 was not a game that we all were proud of, you know, that West LA game. And we had a play that had about 6 personal fouls, and
we kicked off from the 10-yard line.
Yeah, they tried to onside kick from the 10-yard line, but you know, it turned right into 213 was special. You know, that was a special team, and
out the box,
and Jackson, you're a player and a coach now. So what are some things you would tell a guy? You know, what are some things you want to add from the perspective of being just like these guys, former VAQs, and now they're out there in the professional world?
One thing I think that we did well, I mean, I wasn't fortunate as well as you guys. You guys went to big D1 schools, but I think one thing that we all did well as a team is we focused on the now, and we weren't really concerned about where we were going to go or how we were going to get there, or we never talked about being one and done. We didn't really talk about the 4-year level. We kind of knew that. We kind of expected that for ourselves. Like, yeah, we're going to get out, but we got to make sure that we handle our business first. And I know in the springtime, remember with Devontae, when you came in and we pulled you aside and we're like, dude, we got to grind. We got to work hard. And it was kind of more of a defensive thing. And it was just it didn't matter if you were offense, defense, special teams, if you were from Australia, if you were from East Coast, West Coast. We came in and we bought into like, hey, let's be a family. Let's be a brotherhood. And then that'll translate on the field. And once that translates on the field, all those offers will start rolling in, which they did. And I think we did a really good job of that. We trusted the process that the coaches put in for us. And, you know, that speaks volumes. And it's hard to do that, I think, at the junior college level.
Definitely.
So
yeah, and that's great. And I did not pre-script that that point you just made, Jackson. But you just pushed the button, man. That's the biggest challenge. And I've coached at the D1 level. I've coached at the high school level. And there's no harder level than this level. It's the most demanding because of what Jared said and what all you guys have basically alluded to. You come in here and you're out. Some of you are away from home for the first time, and you get caught up in the beach, the women, the this and the that. And it can derail you, especially if you get caught up in worrying about what's way out there and not what's right in front of you. Every step. Because when you don't concentrate on every step, you have a tendency to trip. And when you trip, it can set you back. And
I'm one of those guys that trip, Coach. Everyone knows that.
But look at it. It's a winning story. You know, and we're not going to dwell on that. I'm not going to dwell on that. You know, I would dwell more on the fact that you got through Cincinnati and you graduated, and now look what you're doing. You're out making memories in the world. So is Femi, Tavante, Gleese. So is Jackson. You know, and you know, the biggest point I wanted to make to you guys today is the word that Jared said. You know, this is a brotherhood, and I'm proud to be a part of that. Yeah, in a different way, but man, some of you guys, just thinking back to the memories, that just makes my heart feel great. You know, and yeah, not all of them were positive. You know, and Tavante had his ups and downs, and so did Tim, and I'm sure Femi. You know, and we all did. We've all screwed up. We've all made mistakes, but it's what you do when you make those mistakes. How do you handle those mistakes? How do you handle the ramifications? And I think it's a testament to the character in these guys right here that, you know, when I talk about VAQs, when I talk about, hey, VAQ family, you 5 guys are a big part of it. Those 3 punters the other day, Tim, you know, they're a big part of it, you know, and it's really special to me when I hear you know, when I see on Facebook about Tavante or Femi or Jared or Jackson or Tim, you know, that's special, you know, and you know what, Tim, that freaking head coach at Wyoming, that guy that was there when you left,
mm-hmm.
We had a meeting, he and I, and then he stepped out of the room and then he stuck his head back in and he said, "Hey, how's Gleason working out for you?" And Rob and I looked, we said, "Great. Thank you." You know, great. Thank you. And the fact of the matter is, you know, it doesn't matter what happened at Wyoming. It doesn't matter what happened, Jared. It's where you at now. What are you doing right now? And it's really, really special. And I appreciate you guys, you know, being here and helping us today. And you know, it's just you know, that like you guys are talking about, man, that's why we were good in 13. Because you guys were together, you worked hard, you were motivated, and you knew that the 4-year stuff, that was going to be taken care of, but by how you played and how hard you worked here and the now. And that's something we try to preach every day. And unfortunately, some guys listen, some guys don't.
Some guys don't.
Yeah, some guys do, some guys don't. Femi, man, you got some pipes, man. You've been
bro,
working.
I was just about to say that, bro. That boy is bicep curls every day. He never changed, bro.
Dang.
He never changed. Coach, I remember he used to come to La Brazil, just biceps. Biceps.
Got you.
Oh, man.
Cool, man.
No, but what I was saying, like I tell everybody all the time, the reason why like I'm such a good quarterback now and understand the game, coach, is honestly, man, from you. You know what I'm saying? Because all those times I ain't want to be in them offices watching that damn film. But it was the little things that you helped me, man. And that's why I sent my brother out there to learn, because if you can teach me, you can teach my brother, you know. And I told him that, man. And I was like, man, listen, if you want to learn how to play quarterback, go to coach, man. I can still remember those books that you had in that. You walk in, it's right to the right corner, man. You had what's that UCLA coach, John Wooden, right?
John Wooden.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, man, I can remember from this day, man, how your offense looked.
Hey, they're gonna change it, man. They're gonna tear it.
I used to sit down on the ground and
they're gonna tear it down next year. They're gonna tear it down and build a new facility. So it's gonna be nice. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. But no, thanks, man. I appreciate that. And you know, I just, this is really special, man. You look back on, you know, people say, you know, what are some teams? What do you remember about some teams? And it was because of the way, partly is because of the way 12 ended, you know, and it was such a negative taste that 13 came right back out. And, you know, yeah, you busted your jaw, but you know what? You stayed in the game, and I'll always respect that, Jared. You know, and Devontae, you had a pick six against, who was that against? Was that against Pierce? Who was the pick six?
Yeah.
Wasn't that Pierce?
LA Pierce, yep.
Yeah, yeah. And then with Femi, man, Troy University, that's some good football now.
Yeah,
That's some good football. I mean, that's classy. And you know, so anyways, guys, I mean, I appreciate everything, and I don't want to keep you too much longer, but you know me, man, I could keep you on here for 2 hours, like some of them quarterback meetings, man.
Up some film, you know?
I think if us could test that, we probably wouldn't be where we're at right now without, you know, our experience in SB. I feel like it was a vital point in my life, you know, because I was very unsure out of high school, like what I'm gonna do. And then I remember going to a school, I'm not gonna say right down the road, and that coach turning me down and you giving me a shot, and everything just kind of took off from there. So yeah.
Bad move on that dude's part.
Right?
Bad move.
Bad move, man.
I remember that.
In 2012, man, we had some lockdown corners with you and Delancey, man. I've never felt like – and then it was nice to have that roll over into 13 with Marquise and Tavante. And I think Marquise, you know, he sat behind you guys for that year and learned so much. Like, yeah, there were some good memories, man.
We still got some of those clips, man. We still got some of those clips on our highlight film, man.
Yo, who remembers when Mitch jumped over the dude from LA Pierce?
Yeah, in the punt return.
Yo, we went crazy.
I remember being I was in a boot in a sling that game because I was nurturing the separated shoulder, and I was running down. I was like hopping down the sideline, like, no, he did it.
Oh, I love it.
On a serious note, I say here and there, but Mitch is by far the best football player I've played with on any level.
Him and Jacob. Swear to you, man.
Mitch is a dog. Like,
Mitch and Jacob, man, two of the best dudes I've ever played with, man. Just Jacob was just so versatile, man. How many punt returns like he just did himself? Like he just natural, man.
He set things up with his, like, you can say he mentally set things up before he did it. I mean, he would just
always
set guys up to break their leverage. I mean, it was a beautiful thing watching Jake play. And Mitch was a dog on defense, like.
Yeah, Jake was one of those guys, man, that when you looked at him, you go, that's your guy? That's your dude? And then they watch him play and watch how he did a lot of those instinctive things. I mean, he was a special player, man. Special player. Definitely.
Over to San Diego, too.
What's that? Yeah.
I went to a few of his games when he was at San Diego, too. That's crazy.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a good career there.
Yeah, he did pretty good, yeah.
Definitely.
He was like second in the FCS for return average, I believe.
Return average, yeah.
Is that right?
Wow.
That's good.
That does not surprise me. That does not surprise me at all.
Me either.
Santa Barbara's producing them, man. That's where it's at.
Production.
Shout out
It's a
to
factory. It's a factory, man. There it is right there, man.
That's because we're up.
I love it. Hey, guys, listen, man, thank you. Thank you very much. And please, I told the punters, man, please stay in touch. Please, because you guys make me feel, when talking to you guys about some of the old days and just how classy all five of you guys are, just kind of, it makes me feel real good, man. Makes me feel real good.
We appreciate you, Coach, man.
Yeah, great seeing you, Coach. Awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys joining us today. And please keep in touch and stay safe, man.
Yes.
Stay safe.
Definitely.
Stay healthy. Stay away from Wuhan. Stay out of that place, man.
Yo, Coach, they paying good money. I ain't even going to lie.
Yeah, that's because they're selling a lot of bats over there, man.
So they paying me good money out there, man.
You got to do what you got to do, right?
Oh, for real.
But hey, listen, guys, thank you. I appreciate it. And you guys, like I said, stay safe, man. Stay healthy. Please stay in touch. Okay?
Cheers, Coach.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Great seeing you, mate.